Hi friends, welcome back to another video. My name is Lori. Today I am going to be sharing with you a peek into my pen case for the month of November 2024. I have some really fun pen and ink combinations to share with you. I am recovering from a corneal abrasion, so I'm a little blurry, and I'm going to switch quickly to an overhead view of my pens. But I'm very excited for this month. I spent a fair amount of time today just going through my pens, switching up some inks. I have a nice variety of pens in here. I always like to share at least one or two budget-friendly pens, and that is still the case for today. I have one of my favorite brands from Amazon represented today. I have a new Visconti that I just got from the Atlas Experience pen sale that just arrived. It actually arrived on Fountain Pen Day, so that was pretty exciting. Another thing I like to do during my peek in my pen case videos is talk about a pen that has been like not vibing with me. And I've talked about one in particular. It's a Peniter pen that you've probably heard me complain about in the past. I've recently had nib work done on it, and I feel like I have finally found a great solution for this pen. Last month, I talked about my Mayora Ercolano pen, and I feel like this pen made quite a comeback. I have moved it from my going to sell drawer back into my drawer of all of my Italian pens. So this was a successful month of writing with this pen, and I'm hoping to do the same for my Peniter this month. I'm done looking at myself and my wonky eye. Let's turn this around and get going. So I am going to be recording this month's pen and ink combinations in my ink journal, which is an undated A5 common planner from Sterling Ink. This is where I keep a log of inks and pens that I purchase each month. I also keep a log of pen and ink combinations so I remember, because I forget quite easily. Sometimes I'll do little Zentangles with new pen and ink combos and do some drawings. Here's September's lineup. I did not do a peek in my pen case in October. I don't do them every month, but when I am inspired to, I do them. Let's get started here with our November peek in my pen case. This is a pen and ink combo I will be featuring later. I wanted to start with my Peniter because this is one that has been a little bit on the chopping block and has been a bit of a disappointment for me in many ways because it dries out so easily. I was fortunate enough to win a mystery box during the Atlas Experience pen sale. You get an entire box of goodies, and it's mystery what you're going to get. So I did film an unboxing for that, which I'll share with you at a later date. But I got in that box this Private Reserve ink, this Infinity Extended Cap Off ink in Pine Green. I thought the Pine Green was kind of a nice complement to the Carrera Brown. This Peniter pen is the antique material pen. I was able to get this in person in Chicago when we visited. It has a beautiful clip. I love the ink window. This is my first Peniter pen, but it dries out frequently. And I've also had issues with the tine alignment being off. Fortunately, I had Matthew Chen work on this at the Commonwealth Pen Show. So Matthew did a wonderful job with the nib tuning, but it really didn't solve the problem of the ink drying out because this does not have a very secure closure. And I just think too much air gets in there and it dries out super easily. I immediately thought of this pen when I opened the Infinity ink and I tried it out and I was really pleased with the results. And I know they also sell this in brown, so I would love to try it in brown. You could also use the Van Ness White Lightning that also can lubricate some of your inks, which I haven't tried yet. I own it and I have never put it in an ink. But let's see how this looks. Remember, this is Pine Green. I promise I don't have all saturated inks this month. I feel like I had a lot last month and I like to just dab a little off so you can see what it looks like. And this writes extremely broad. So I'm applying very little pressure. It has a very flexy nib. The Antici material and the color is Carrera Brown. I think it's an E there, I'm not sure. Carrera Brown. So yeah, it does have a very broad downstroke and a slightly smaller side stroke. And you can see the cutout in the nib. I was so excited about this. I love the ink window. I love the look of it. I just want to be able to rely on this pen. Let me know if you have any experience with the Infinity ink. Infinity ink, and this is by Private Reserve. And they have a variety of colors, and this is in the pine green. I have 12 pens. I better write a little bit smaller in the upcoming samples if I want to fit everything in. I may give it a swap out and try the White Lightning and see how it compares to the Infinity ink, but I was really impressed. I've been enjoying writing with this. Here's a little writing sample from earlier this morning, trying out the Infinity ink in my Peniter and Ticci. I'm amazed at the difference. I had almost given up on this pen. I'm so happy that I tried this ink. Need to order a fun new neutral color. I wonder if they have brown. They do. It truly is a beautiful writer now that I had it tuned and found the right ink. Peniter and Ticci Carrera Brown. Okay, let's lighten things up a bit. This is really quite the opposite. I have such a light ink in here, although it presents even lighter in this pen because this is a medium fine. I love my Sailor pens. This is Every Rose Has Its Thorn. This is a Pro Gear, so it's the larger size, which is my favorite. It has rose gold trim and it has super, super subtle sparkle. It's just so classy. I had Lennon Toolbar Sesame Oil in here, kind of to complement the rose gold, but I decided to put in a new Mont Blanc ink. I've been gathering up quite a few Mont Blanc inks. You're going to see a couple in today's video. This is the Meisterstück Olympic Heritage Blue, and it's a nice dusty blue, and I thought it was really pretty with this pen, but it does present very light. Kind of like a smoky color. What do you think? Sometimes I do post this. It is very comfortable. This is such a beautiful, understated pen. This is my Sailor. And this is a medium fine nib. And the ink is it's supposed to be Olympic Heritage, not Heritage Olympic. I am not loving this combo because I feel like it's very, very light. I love this color. I love this color with this pen, but it is showing up super light. And I just filled this today, so I'm not sure this is gonna last all month. We'll see. What do you think? 21 karat. I think when I write smaller, I might enjoy this combo a little more. So jury's out on this, not on the beauty of this pen, and I actually really love this ink as well, but I'm not sure about the combo. Okay, here's one I was pretty excited for. I haven't been using my whiskey in a while, so I decided to pull it out because I do love this pen so much. And I decided to do a nice shimmery ink in here. I don't love to put shimmer inks in my piston fill pens, but this is not a piston fill. I typically don't use the converter that comes with this. I have this one cartridge that I just keep filling over and over, and it takes me forever to clean it out, but I rinse it and I refill it, which is what I did with this today. It looks like there's a little drop. And then I put it back together. I don't know if any of you remember the hunt for the whiskey that I went through. I ended up getting this from Japan, from the Itoya store. I had it forwarded through a service, and it took me months to actually get my hands on it, but I did not buy it on the secondhand market. I think I reserved it with the manager at Itoya in January, and it wasn't until late March that I actually got it, but I love this pen. Okay, so let's check out this Cocoa Shimmer. This is by Diamine. Did I say that yet? Cocoa Shimmer, has a nice gold shimmer to it. And it's like a sweet brown color. I love it. So this is a Pilot Vanishing Point in Whiskey, and it is a matte finish. I have a medium gold nib. And of course the Vanishing Point is that classic design with the click up. I have a few Vanishing Points and a few of the gold inserts, which are interchangeable. So I actually, when I purchased this, they only had it in the fine, but I took my medium gold nib from another pen and put it in here, and I love it. And this has no problem keeping up, and this is a pretty heavy shimmer. You see it settles really quickly. So before I started writing with this, kind of just took the pen and rolled it a little bit. You want to agitate the cartridge because that shimmer can really build up. And this is a really small nib in feed, but I'm really impressed with how well that kept up. I have missed it. This is just so gorgeous. I love the ombre effect. It's just gorgeous, and it's so warm, and I love the texture to the matte finish. I love it. I love this pen. This seems like a fantastic combo. I'm going to really enjoy this, I am sure. Why don't we talk a little bit about my Orefici. This is a SCRIBO Laudata. I am so in love with this pen. I think it is currently my favorite SCRIBO. I have 3 and 1 on order, one that I ordered on Fountain Pen Day, Saragaza. It's the one where SCRIBO is donating 30% to flood relief efforts in Bologna. I got it on Fountain Pen Day with 20% off from Apple Boom. I think they have such a great selection at Apple Boom for SCRIBOs. I did get this at the Dutch Pen Show. I love this. In here, I actually have Jane Austen ink from Mont Blanc, another Mont Blanc appearance. I really do love this ink. This is a great everyday color, everyday writer color, in my opinion. It leans a little towards purples, purpley gray, but it really complements here quite nicely. I was considering putting a like a very light color in here just because this is another super juicy broad nib. I might try that. I was thinking about putting Oyster Hour by Ferris Wheel Press just to try it out. But right now I had Jane Austen, and I don't want to waste this ink because I think this ink might be getting harder to come across. So I did not want to waste it. So I decided to just keep what was in here to share with you. This pen has a broad flex nib, and it is one juicy writer. I'll show you a little flexing. I will say it's a nice sturdy nib, even when you're not flexing it. Orefici. So similar to the Peniter, you really don't have to add practically any pressure when you're writing. Usually you can really see the effects of a flex nib if you're going from fine to flex and not from broad to flex. This is kind of like a fire hose when it flexes. I love the gold over here. This is just so beautiful. What do you think about that combo? I think it really looks nice right here. Let's do a little fall inspired pen. I just did a video talking about my favorite fall pens. This was featured. This is the Opus 88 Mini. It's my first Opus 88. This retails for $79, and it is a Gold Spot exclusive. I will try to have links for as many pens as I can in the description. Gold Spot was kind enough to gift this to me, and I'm so excited because I have been wanting to try an Opus 88 for so long. This is an eyedropper pen, so all you have to do is unscrew this right here, and you just add your ink right in there with an eyedropper. And I was so nervous to try this. It has been fantastic. I haven't had any issues with burping. And you can also open this up to release more of the ink into the feed. I don't find that this posts great. It kind of sticks on there, but I don't think it's really meant to. Luckily, it still fits quite nicely. I do think that I would really enjoy the normal size as well. I feel like this is a little bit short at times. Oh, I should probably tell you what ink is in there, huh? This is the 1798. This is like their higher end ink. It's the Cornaline d'Egypte. And this is a beautiful orange shimmer. I think this is such a fun fall color. I like to put this in my Bennu Bourbon pen as well. But I thought it was really great in here. And what I like about this pen is you have like the lighter orange here with the white leaves. In the body, the leaves are actually transparent, so you can see the ink underneath. And it just has like the gold stamping. So whatever ink you put in there, you can see through. So I went with a lighter color, kind of complements the lighter oranges here. This is a really fun ink. I remember when I first started in this hobby, people used to talk about Emerald de Chivor all the time. And I was so intrigued to try that. And that is such a saturated ink. It really wasn't one of my favorites, as brilliant as that color is. I mean, it is bold, it is gorgeous, but it's so saturated. And then I discovered this, and this quickly became one of my favorites from this line. And I think it works really well in this particular pen. All right, let's try this out. This is the Opus 88 Mini. It's called Fall Leaves. I got this in a medium nib, and I would say that it writes on the finer side for sure, which I'm not sad about. I still think it's really nice. But I would say if you're getting an eyedropper pen because you want a lot of ink and you want to showcase the properties of the ink, you might want to size up in your nib size. Let me know if you've had a similar experience with Opus 88. I do feel like this writes on the finer side. It is a steel Jowo nib, number 5, I believe. I really like this combo. Let me close my little valve there. I think it's a really pretty match. And I'm one of those girls that can't wait for Christmas to come around. So I figured I had to leave this inked up for at least the first part of November, because very soon I will be shifting into full-on Christmas mode. So I wanted to really enjoy this pen while I could in the month of November. Oh, next up, let's talk about my new Pelican. I also did a video on this. I ordered this right after a trip that we recently took to New York City. We are in New York quite a bit between Jay's work and visiting my son, and it's just a really special city to me. And I've eyed this a couple times. I almost bought it the week of Stationery Fest when I was in Brooklyn. I saw it was available at Fountain Pen Hospital, which is where I bought this one. And I waited a little bit too long and it ended up selling. When I saw that it was available again at the Fountain Pen Hospital, I did not hesitate. I got it for, I would say, between $100 and $150 less than I see it for on eBay all the time. So I jumped on it. It was also had a medium nib, which I don't have from Pelican yet. And in here, I have Ferris Wheel Press Stroke of Midnight. I just looked at the time, and there is a chance we may have to continue this tomorrow. We are looking for an apartment in Boston, and we have an appointment at 5:30, and the sun is going down, and I have to drive into the city. So I may have to continue this tomorrow morning. We might have different lighting. I get so deep into these videos and so excited when I'm playing with ink that I lose all track of time. Has some shimmer in it, and I think it's really pretty, and I wanted to accent, it's like a cloud blue. It's so subtle. So I thought if I went with a deeper navy blue, it would really just pull out the blue in this pen. I also think this would be super classy with just a straight black ink. I love it. Love this pen so much. I also love that M600s are really postable pens. Really like to post my pens when I can, and I think the M600 size is a great postable pen. M605, this is a special edition. I want to say this is from like 2006 or 2003. And they have a series with different cities. They have San Francisco, I believe they have Chicago. This is New York. My ink is Ferris Wheel Press, Stroke of Midnight. I love a navy blue ink. I'm not really into like a straight blue or cobalt blue, but I do love navies. And I also love like this type of blue, like a smoky blue. This is just such a beautiful smooth writer. Medium nib, did I say that yet? I don't think so. We'll have to go medium nib. And it is gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. I'm really, really enjoying this pen. And I'm so happy I've added this one to my collection. You know, sometimes with limited editions like this, the longer you wait, the more expensive they can be. Not always. In this case, I was really happy to get this for the price that I got it for. I do think that Fountain Pen Hospital's backroom prices are quite reasonable, but there's stuff, it can sell quickly if it's something that is super popular. Oh, next up is not a typical choice for November, but I went in a little bit of a different direction. Oyster Hour is an ink I always use in this pen. This is a Zodiac pen company. This is the Gemini model, and this is Jonathan Brooks Golden Abalone. I love, love, love this resin on this pen. But one of the things that I was picking up on when I was looking at it today is this little hint of pink right here. Typically I focus on the gold shimmer and the black, but today I was looking at that pink and I was like, you know, I think I'm going to lean into the pink that I see here. So what I went with today, and I think this is going to be it for today, I'm going to finish tomorrow with some morning light. This is Kobe strawberry chocolate that I ordered directly from Nagasawa. I first saw this ink at Stationery Fest and it was sold out. They sold out of it so quickly. Nobody had it around, so I waited until it was back in stock at Nagasawa and I ordered a platinum demonstrator pen from them and a few inks, and this was one of the inks that I picked up. So not a typical color for the month of November, but I really love how this looks in this pen, and I really love this ink. So you'll have to tell me what you think of it. You can just see it over here. Not that you have to match your ink, but I love to. So this has a double broad Yovo nib. It's one of the only double broads that I have in my collection, and I would say that this is my favorite Zodiac pen. I actually love that there's no clip on it, and I love that it's just streamlined, straight down. It's just a great pen. But this honestly writes like a marker. Zodiac Pen Company. This is the Gemini model. And this is in a double broad. I have some really juicy nibs today, don't I? Yeah, this is kind of like a marker. Would not recommend this if you want to do any sort of precision writing, but these are also interchangeable nibs, and so I thought it would be fun to try this. But I do really love the hints of pink in here. Do you see it? Right here. I think it's so much fun. And this is Kobe ink. Strawberry chocolate. I should do a video with just my dusty pinks. It all got started with Aphrodite pink from Laban. I really love this dusty color, and I think it's beautiful in this pen and not a typical choice. So I'm pretty excited about that. Hold on, I have to see how long of a ride it is into Boston right now, and I can determine how much longer I can film. Okay, I definitely have to go because it's an hour and 4 minutes away, so I'm just gonna make it. I'll be back tomorrow. Here we are, back again. I decided to change the ink in my Peniter. As much as I was excited about this finding with the Infinity ink, I didn't love the combo, and I just felt like this was really dark coming out of this pen. Before I started recording, I decided to put Cacao de Brazil in here, which is a really great match. I also took out my White Lightning. As I had mentioned, I've had this for a while. This is put out by Van Ness, and it says, for poor flowing or dry inks to increase flow consistency, most effective when used at concentration of less than 1%. You really just need a tiny, tiny bit of this. So I put it in a sample vial, a teeny tiny drop, and I added it to this pen. Now I have sampled it. It's writing really wet right now, but I'm going to just put it aside for a while, and then we'll come back and test it and see how it does. Actually, let's take the cap off and even see how this does. I'm gonna leave the cap off for the rest of this video and we'll go from there. Okay, so we had left off with Zodiac pens. This double broad is super, super broad. It might be fun to try a different nib size on here because this pen is super comfortable and I would love to use it for everyday writing. All right, I know the lighting might be a little funky right now. Let's switch gears and talk about this beautiful Leonardo Memento Zero. This was a store exclusive from Dromgoole. It's the Mount Olympus, and I just absolutely love this resin, and this color is so beautiful. For a really long time, I had Diamine 3 Kings ink in here, and it was one of my just go-to. I just left it in there, and I really liked it. But I did switch things up, and I'm really excited about what I have in here today because it is another Mont Blanc ink. Sorry if I'm being annoying with all these inks, but this is a really cool ink because I purchased it at an estate sale. And it is, I want to say like 10 years old or 9 years old. I want to say this was a 2016. This says June of 16 right here. Okay. Mont Blanc Carlo Collodi brown ink. This was one of their great writers. It's a really cool color and I thought it was really fun and I wanted to showcase it here today. And it is a nice fall color, so I thought it would be nice. Okay, my dip pen was hiding. I got all out of sorts since last night. Okay, let's see what you think of this ink. The thing about Mont Blanc inks is they're not shimmery, they're not, they don't have a lot of sheen or anything like that, but they're really pretty and well behaved. So this, I would say, does have some similarities to the Urban ink, but it doesn't have any of the shimmer. There's like a silver shimmer in there. This is another one that I don't want to waste. This had recently sold on eBay for $99, this ink, and I got it at this incredible estate sale. They had a ton of Mont Blanc pens, and I got there the last day with an hour left before they closed, and every single fountain pen had sold. Every single fountain pen. I mean, they must have sold $20,000 worth of Mont Blanc pens at this sale. This was priced at $28, and I got it for half off, so I just paid $14 for this. And I really love the ink, and it looks really great in this pen. So let's give it a whirl. This is not the Grande version. This is the standard size pen. I think this is called Mount Olympus. It's been a while now since I purchased this. This is a real smooth writer. I really love the ink flow, the combination here. This is a good one. This is a medium nib, and this is a Dromgoole exclusive. I don't know if it's still available with them anymore. And the ink is I'm really liking this combination. When you see it come out of the pen, I think it focuses really nicely on the darker parts of the pen itself. And it's a really nice combo, really beautiful for the fall. Oh, and I'm writing all over my page. Okay, let's move on to our next combo. Okay, here is another one of my very budget-friendly pens. And this is a Hongan pen. I've been raving about Hongdians for a long time now. I have to say that Asvine is one of my new favorite budget pens from Amazon. I've given away 2 of my pens from this collection. I actually have 100% intention of replacing the blue and the milk tea that I have gifted to friends and family just because I love this pen so much. And I think it's such a great starter pen. Honestly, like just a great everyday carry. I love the vibe of it. I love the weight of it. These cost $17 on Amazon. I just think they're the best. And actually, the Black Forest one, I use more than anything. This is the one that my daughter gave me. says Lori's Boston Found. She gave this to me for Christmas last year. She got it off of Etsy. This is the one that has something like 27,000 4.5-star reviews. This is the Black Forest one, and I love this. This has a fine nib. I use this in my Hobonichi and my planners. I always keep carbon ink in here 90% of the time. So I love it. So I'm a big fan of Hongan. Today we are focusing on this pen. And the ink that I'm using is a new ink that I bought when I was in New York City. I really love this color green. It's not quite an olive green, but I would say it's like a mossy green. I also love that these Urban ink bottles have this little rest here, which I honestly never picked up on until recently. So you can use it as a pen rest if you'd like. And this is a real affordable ink, in contrast to this version of Urban ink that is definitely more high-end. You can get this classic Urban ink for, I don't know, like $14 a bottle. It's really not bad at all. And that's the same line that I put back into the Peniter pen. Isn't this a great green? I really love it. Not a huge green person, so I get very excited when I love an ink, and this is one that I really do love. So this is a fine nib, and they're very small nib. That might be a drawback for you. I wonder if it's the same size in this one. Yeah, those are a smaller nib, but I'll tell you, these are great. This is obviously a steel nib. This is the 1862 pen, the fine nib. And this is in jasmine green. This is a great everyday writer. Also with the finer lines, works really well in planners or small spaces. I do think that you see some shading properties in this ink when it dries down, and it's just a lovely pen. This is a great stocking stuffer. It's great if you're trying to penable somebody and you want to start them out in the hobby for $17, under $20, I'm going to say, because the price may have changed a little bit. Yeah, I definitely want to get the milk tea back in my collection. I miss that. I gave the milk tea to my son Anthony's girlfriend, Amanda, when she started PA school, or just one of the times that she was visiting. I'm always trying to give people pens when they're here. Okay, let's take out an oldie but goodie. This is the Platinum Calico. This is the 3776 model in celluloid. This was one of my first big pens when my husband did that first trip to Japan in 2022. This was one of the beautiful pens he brought home for me. I love platinums. I don't feel like I write with this enough. There's this funny thing about this platinum pen and the weight of this particular pen, and that is that I feel like it's a little light and a little small without the cap. And when I post it, after I write for a while, it feels a little heavy. So I'm constantly adding the cap, taking it off when I write. But I love the writing experience. I love the little heart for the breather hole. I love the stiffer nib on the Platinum. I love the medium nib more than the fine. It's my favorite size nib for the Platinums. So I do love this pen. For a while, I put Dusted Truffle in here. This time around, I went in a different direction, and I used an ink from Troublemaker that is really pretty. I chose this ink simply by putting the pen next to some of my ink samples, and I just tried to see the one that looked most complimentary, and this is what I came up with. So this is Tuslab Bua. This is ink made in the Philippines, and kind of newer to Troublemaker ink. I feel like sometimes it can err on the side of a drier ink, but I did not get that impression here. Yeah, I think this is different, but it's gonna look really nice with this pen. I definitely like to complement my ink. I think that's why the Peniter in the dark green was not settling well with me, and I wanted to shift gears. So I'm excited to see how that works at the end of this little experiment here. So this is my Platinum. Oh, this is such a nice writer. Oh my goodness. This is celluloid in Calico. This is a medium nib. This is definitely one of those pens that when I write with it, I'm like, I need to write with this way more frequently. So nice. And our ink in here is Troublemakers. I had to look this up and make sure that I was spelling it right, because in my ink journal, I was like, is that really the name of it? And then I looked it up. So yeah, that is it. What a gorgeous combo. I think that's beautiful. I really love it. Okay, up next is a pen that I got at the Dutch Pen Show. This was my biggest impulse buy at the Dutch Pen Show, and I really don't regret it. However, I am seriously considering swapping out the nib, and the gentleman who sold this to me was quite a character. This is a Scopus pen. He has some really interesting pens. He uses a lot of natural material in his stuff. Kind of reminds me of Papa J, who's really taken the community by storm. I need to get one of his pens. So here's my issue with this, the make of this pen, which I didn't even really realize until later. I don't love that the gold nib is on with the silver hardware. He wanted me to have this one because it has his logo on it. It's just a Yovo nib, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to swap this out. This feels like it's a longer nib. I don't know if it's like an older design, which is kind of cool. It kind of is a different writing experience. This is his Van Gogh. It was based off a Van Gogh painting, and since I was in the Netherlands, I thought it would be really fun to get this pen as a little, souvenir type from the event. What happens with is the inside of this is not polished. It's pretty rough on the inside. This feels like it's a little squishy right here. This feels like it's made out of a different material than this, and this is a matte finish. I think that's actually kind of cool because I like the texture of this, and I love the feel of it. I love that it doesn't have a clip. I love the shape of it. I really, I love all the colors in here. But when I turn this, do you see how it doesn't stop? It tightens, but if you keep going, the threads don't stop it. So it just, and I think the more I do that, probably the looser I'm going to make it. So something's definitely up with the threading. So I think that's a quality issue. However, it's not the biggest deal. I haven't had any issues with this drying out. And I just know now that when I close it, as soon as it feels a little tight, I just leave it. But overall, I think this is a really beautiful, beautiful pen. I think once I swap this nib out and put a silver tone one in here, I will like it even more. So this was another one. I just lined it up with some ink samples, and I decided that Bah Humbug would be beautiful in here. Now, Bah Humbug is a chameleon ink from Diamine last Christmas, and I feel like this was like one of my favorites. So it says chameleon, but there's clearly a little shimmer in there, and when I did a sample earlier, I didn't really use much of the shimmer, but we will today. This is a really pretty color, like a burgundy, and I think it's lovely in this pen. Whoa, that's very dark. You know what I'm gonna do, don't you? Let's lift a little. There we go. I want a pen this color. Does anybody have any suggestions? Again, like many of the pens I'm sampling, it's a Yovo nib. This is with a medium nib. And this was from the Inkvent calendar last year. I'm sure they made some full bottles of it. You can see some of the shimmer coming through over here. Has anyone looked at any videos for this year's Inkvent calendar? I haven't purchased it yet. I need to curl up with a video and see all the spoilers before I decide whether or not I want to get it. I'll probably cave. Bah Humbug. Yeah, I'm curious why it says it's a chameleon and doesn't show that it has shimmer. Instead, it's not called a shimmer ink. Chameleon. I think this is a lovely fall combo. I really wanted to use this in November. You know, all the leaves have changed and fallen, and I just think the way he uses his material is really beautiful. Okay, and last but not least is my new Homo Sapien, my new Visconti in Lotus Garden. I love this pen so much more than I even expected to love it. The Visconti Homo Sapien, there's a Iris pen that is listed right now for over $1,000. The Homo Sapien is the flagship pen for Visconti. They're very expensive. You can get them on sale sometimes. Atlas had this on special for $650 for Fountain Pen Day, but I was going back and forth because that is still a lot of money. I was using Atlas credit, so that was really helping me with the great majority of the buy, but I still wasn't crazy about the price tag on it because I already have my Visconti Homo Sapien in white in lava. I have featured this on my channel 100 times, it feels like, so many times. It's always been very heavy. Now I finally got this to write exactly how I love. Matthew Chen did an incredible job tuning this, and it's the best it's ever been, and I love it more than ever. That being said, there are a couple things that I was curious about in other Homo Sapiens. And that was, one, I wanted an ink window, or I wanted a way to see the ink in the barrel. This is a vac fill. I just can't see what's in there, and sometimes I get caught off guard. I may not get as good of a fill as I think. I bring it with me on the go, and then I run out of ink and it bums me out because I can't see. The other thing is this has a magnetic seal. It doesn't have the classic hook safe, which this one does. So they do use that hook safe closure on this model. I feel like this is a very heavy pen. Now, a lot of the weight is in the cap, but it's really not bad. It's not bad uncapped. You really can't cap this. But there were enough differences that I was curious to try another one. And this one's super neutral. You know, this is the lava one. I wanted to try one in a different material. So for all those reasons, I was really curious about this. And I'm making this a very long story, and I'm so sorry. Fast forward to the Experience pen sale. I had been watching this on Fountain Pen Day on the sale, and it was down to just fine nibs. It was selling out, and I was debating whether or not I should buy it. I still thought it was quite expensive, even though I had enough credit to cover most of it. Then there were two of these in the Experience pen sale, both in a fine nib. While the Experience pen sale was happening, they sold out of these on the regular website, and I lost the first one that they offered. And they said, we have one more left, and it's the last one we have in the company. Now, I've never won anything on the Experience pen sale. You have to join their Discord. It's this whole system where they show a pen or an item. You type in the word claim, and the first person to hit claim and have it show up on the Atlas side of things wins, meaning you purchase it for the price that they put it at. They put this at $400, so $250 less, which meant my affiliate credit would cover all of it. So I really wanted it at that point. I lost the first one. I won the second one. I was so excited. Came to me, and out of the box, it is one of my top 3 writers out of the box ever of all my pens. I cannot believe how beautiful of a writer this is. Now, when you see it, it's just a fine line. It's gorgeous. I don't have to tune this pen at all. I also think because I had such a tough run with this nib, finally the nib is great, but that is because I have had it tuned. I've paid for it. I lived with it, not writing great for a long time. And this one, perfection. So that is my very long story about how I acquired this. I am going to do a full unboxing. If you want to hear that whole story all over again at a later date, I'll go into even more detail. But I am just really excited that this is such a beautiful writer. And honestly, this colorway is not my favorite. And the writing experience actually is more important to me than the colorway because it is so wonderful. So the ink that I chose for here, you're going to be surprised, it is another Mont Blanc. I think I used this ink last month. It's Enzo Ferrari. I picked this up when I was in London at Harrods. They had a Mont Blanc boutique. I picked this up. It's like the perfect purple. I just wanted something in here so quickly. I just inked it up with the first ink I thought of. I also think that this Troublemaker would look nice in here. I also think that this Urban ink would look pretty in here. I think I have some options. Even Jane Austen would look nice in here. So I think I have more choices than I initially even thought. I also really like the black trim. I like that this barrel is semi-transparent. I can see the ink sloshing around. Freaking love this pen. Okay, let's get to it. Thank you for humoring me and listening to my long-winded story. Been liking this Enzo Ferrari ink too. It's just kind of been something that I'm finding I'm enjoying putting in a lot of different pens, and it looks great and performs well. It's almost like a grape purple. Oh, just gorgeous. So smooth. It's totally restored my faith in Visconti. Like, I just can't get over how nice this is. This is an 18 karat gold nib. Maybe if I take my time and we could write Ferrari nicely. I know there was a lot of hype over that for just a fine line, but I'm just so thrilled with the performance of this. So the Experience pen sales are returned items or items that have a small flaw. This was returned because the box was broken. So there was nothing wrong with the pen, and they still put it in the Experience pen sale and took $250 off the low price that they were offering on their website for Fountain Pen Day. So I am just so thrilled. So that is everything. That is my lineup for today. Why don't we go through all the pens? I'll put them side by side. I'll show you what I have. All right, so here's the Peniter, which I've already changed the ink. I think this is next up. There's no way I'm gonna make the whole month with this combo. Love this ink, love this pen, do not love this together. And I don't want to go all month and not enjoy this, so I'm probably gonna swap that out. Pilot Vanishing Point Whiskey with Diamine Cocoa Shimmer. I really liked this combo. It's a little different for me. I typically haven't put shimmer inks inside this pen. I haven't used this pen in a while. This is why I love doing currently inked videos, because I just slow down, I clean out my pens, I discover new combos, I pull pens out that I haven't used in a while, and I love it. And then there are ones that I'm always using, like this one, for example, this Scribo La Data Orfici. This has Mont Blanc Jane Austen in it. This is something that is constantly in my rotation. It's probably been featured 2 or 3 times already in a currently inked video, but I love that pen, and I'm so excited for my new Scribo. Here's my Opus 88 Mini Fall Leaves from Gold Spot. I think this is a great match with Urban Coraline de Egypt. This is a great pen for under $80 with great ink capacity and really cute, fun, pocket-friendly, cute. Love it. And I actually love this combo together. You can see a little bit of the sheening in there. I think this is a fun match in the navy blue. I love the way that the navy blue in the Stroke of Midnight from Ferris Wheel Press works with that. Here is my beautiful Gemini pen from Zodiac Pens with the double broad nib. And I'm using the Kobe Strawberry Chocolate. I think that I am going to swap out that nib sooner than later, because I really love this pen and I just don't reach for it on an everyday basis because the nib is so ginormous, but it's awesome. This is one of the combos that I really enjoyed from this lineup, Leonardo Momento Zero. This is the Mount Olympus Dromgoole exclusive, and this is my new retired ink from Mont Blanc Carlo Collodi. And you can see in here too some of the sheening and shading going on there. That was a beautiful combo. My best bang for your buck pen is Hongan. This is the 1862 in Jasmine Green. It's a fine nib. You know, I don't have any Hongan in a medium nib. So maybe when I replace the milk tea, which is lighter than this, I also love the texture, the design. It almost looks like a cable knit sweater. I love these pens. Maybe when I replace that milk tea, I'll get it in a medium nib, because I would love to try that out. And that's got the Vert Empire from Urban. Really love that. This is another one of my favorite combos for the month. This is my Platinum 3776 celluloid and calico medium nib. Beautiful, beautiful medium nib from Platinum that has Troublemaker TWSBI. Again, let me know how I'm pronouncing that. Next up, you got the story behind this Scopus Vango. Absolutely beautiful for this November month. I'm really excited about this combo, and I really love that Bah Humbug. I don't think I had shaken the bottle so much, so I'm not seeing quite as much shimmer when I write with this, but I really think this looks so perfect with this pen. And of course, my new baby, my Visconti Homo Sapien in Lotus Garden with a fine nib. Absolutely love this with Mont Blanc Enzo Ferrari purple. That is my lineup. And then, of course, I switched out this ink. I've left this cap off of my peniter for the second part of the video. Whoa, that is really, really writing quite wet. Look at this. Woo! It's like an ice skating rink. It also is looking a little bit more broad. If I barely put any pressure, let's just see. This is in. That is really my only chance at getting. Oh no, you're really not getting any fine line here. I would definitely say that that white lightning really smoothed things out, but now it's a little out of control. But fun, you know? I just think that this nib in and of itself is just not like an everyday nib. But I would rather have this as a super broad writer than not write. And I really think that this color combination is much better than the pine green. Writing really fast to see because I was thinking that it was a feed issue. But no, it's really keeping up. So fun, fun, fun. Yeah, I would even say I probably could have used about half the amount of the white lightning that I used. So I would say use as little as possible. They said like 1%. And this was uncapped for the entire second part of this video. You can either go for the extended cap off, or you can kind of create your own and go the white lightning route. I think a bottle of white lightning is like $7 from Van Ness, and it will last you a lifetime, I think. Thank you so much for spending time with me and taking a peek into my pen case. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more from me. Let me know what your favorite pen and ink combo is this month, and let me know if you got anything special for Fountain Pen Day. And I will see you very soon in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon.